time of great darkness. Only the brave will prevail.
See, when the power structure wanted to start a war with the American people, the Americans said, don't sing it, bring it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Deal Media's #1 show, World at War. I'm your host, Dean Ryan. And some of these Americans that I just referenced here in the beginning are here tonight in a very, very blockbuster evening that we're going to be sharing with everyone around the world in one of the most censored, shadow banned, just, feared shows in the world, right here, World at War. And some of those Americans, as I said, are here. And one of them is the healthy American, that is Peggy Hall, or as I call her, Peggy Lee, but our very own Peggy Hall from my wonderful home, sweet home, Orange County. She'll be making a comeback here tonight at the Real Deal Media University. Well, this is now happening. The UK courts formally issues an order to extradite Julian Assange to the United States. This is it right here. Now, before I get into this, also know the predication for holding him hostage in the UK prisons where he currently is not due to unpaid traffic tickets. It's not due to war crimes. It's due to an indiscrepancy hearsay of him and another female patron in Sweden to first get him into the door. And then what they want to extradite him for the U.S. for is for the Bradley Manning transferred files of 2010 during the Obama regime war crimes. Oh, yes, and the Bush war crimes as well. Let's not forget that, supposed president too. But let me get to this right now. The decision now rests in the Interior Minister Priti Patel, who's not very pretty at all, and I've seen her. Although Assange's lawyers may still appeal to the High Court if she approves the extradition. That's right. UK court this Wednesday issued a formal order to extradite WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to the United States to face trial over the publication of secret files relating to the Iraq-Afghanistan wars. I mean, the war crimes and horror stories, we only know just a fraction of it. Well, the decision now rests in the Interior Minister's Priti Patel, the not-so-pretty Patel, although Assange may still appeal within a 14-day decision to approve the extradition. So it's going to happen. And now they're saying no appeal to the High Court has yet been filed. So this seems to be in motion at this juncture in time. Now, Washington wants to put him on trial connection to the publication of 500,000 secret military files relating to the U.S.-led wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. In January last year, the 50-year-old Australian appeared to have won a reprieve on the grounds he was a suicide risk and if he was kept in solitary confinement at maximum security. So he's been in solitary confinement for how many years now? How many years? And then he had free passageway to get to Ecuador, but then they changed that little dictator for a Venezuela-approved one who will not have it. Now, what does this implication mean? Because we're going to revisit this one too. This means the following. Assange has his dead man keys, meaning if something terrible is to happen to him, we will all the most horrid details in WikiLeaks files and cables that we don't even are not even privy to know yet will be released. And you can guarantee 9/11's in there. You can guarantee the build up to the Iraq War even more so, and the war crimes. And get this one: if you thought Pizzagate was terrible, I'm sure he's holding to the just next level version of that. Next level version. And that's why they want this man dead, is because of just that. This was the man that told the world and shed the light on the cockroaches about the Pizzagate. That's right. And that's why they want him dead, because he spread them everywhere. So we're going to revisit this, but this is the game changer. We're going to get into what this means in this global reset going forward, because it will definitely bring down the house of cards of what Assange is holding. So that is the lead story for tonight. And it's just getting even more wild from there. Let me tell you about this. The Grand Pumbaa himself, the alleged Governor Newsom, is now setting his sights, get this, on the White House. Can you believe it? I can hear Peggy chuckling in the backstage, and I don't blame her. I'm crying and dying inside too. Right, Peggy? Okay. So here's what I'm saying. Newsom's presidential ambitions. That's why he's always trying to seem stoic and everything. And he is running for president. You better believe. And when he does, if he does, he's going to be pardoning that his auntie. If you don't know who that is, that's the indentured servant, the Tales from the Crypt Keeper, Nancy Pelosi. And this is what, for example, California governor now, he needs his presidential nomination bids out in the open because everyone is starting to do that right now. So the New York Times knows he's doing it. The San Francisco Times knows he's doing it. The only problem is, do the citizens of California know he's doing it? So, first of all. Secondly, do they even want it? Well, here to talk about a bit more about that and some other issues in the Golden State, I'm going to bring Peggy Hall to the fold here, the creator, the head of the New American, or the Healthy American, excuse me, I was reading, the healthyamerican.org. Sorry, Peggy, I'm always screwing up when you come on the show. Peggy, it's so good to see you and have you back on tonight.
Hey, thanks so much, Dean. I love the New American. Why not? We are creating everything anew. Out with the old, in with the new.
Exactly. Well, see, I can't multitask. I don't know how the women do it. I was reading something, but yes, Peggy, I have to ask you before we get into Newsom, because are people now kind of flocking back to California? I know I tried to until just this unfortunate incident happened a year ago, but do people feel the need to come back now that the slave masks are being rescinded now and trying to make things work out? Do you see a change here?
I have, Dean. I know people that have tried to move to other states, and they found a surprise that the tyranny follows them there as well. I know personally people that have moved to Idaho, and they found out that they were also requiring all of the, I call them the scam, in especially in medical care. I know people in Florida who were flabbergasted to find out that they could not enter hospitals or get medical care unless they were suffocating themselves. And I know
Yeah.
people that have moved to Tennessee and they found out that their employer wanted them to get the cooties cure, as I call it, the miracle jab, as you know. And they thought, oh my gosh, I
Mhm.
uprooted my family. I know people that moved to Texas. And then I also know people that are moving to California. And here's why. And even people that left California are coming back. California is amazing. The state of California is amazing. I am a lifelong Californian. I've lived in other places, but I claim my home as California. And it actually is, it's a wonderful place to live. The politics in California are all messed up. And there are some super liberal people in most of the big
Mhm.
cities, like, LA is pretty much, you can just write that off. Most places in LA, the whole Bay
Right.
Area, lots of places, Santa Barbara, Ventura are full on commie, but not
Venice Beach,
people. Oh,
Venice Beach. I tell people Venice Beach, get this, believe it or not, Venice Beach used to be a beach. Now it's a public storage and public latrine for everybody around the country, and everyone's coming to California because that's where the welfare state, the origins from cradle to grave begins and dies in California. But but check this out, Peggy. I don't know if you heard the AP, the most untrusted name in news. Get this story here. I want to get your take on it because we have been rejoicing here in the newsroom of the Real Deal Media hallways here. But now AP saying the following. I couldn't believe it, Peggy. I saw this and I fell out of my seat and got up again, fell over once again. Is now you have the majority of Americans want masks for travelers in a new AP poll. And yeah, except for that guy there who's, yeah, so
guy, is that a guy?
no,
You
that's
can't
my
tell
PE
these
teacher.
days.
And again, but look at this here. Look
Maybe
at
my
this.
PE teacher.
Yeah, that's our PE teacher. You remember her? But they're saying that everybody wants this back. And here's what I'm getting at. Because you had the White House now saying, oh, we're going to do everything we can to get the mask back. You have the mainstream media trying to just play managed PR game, saying, no, everybody wants this back. The AP poll, which, we polled, 5 people ourselves, we want it back. I don't think that's the case, Peggy. Do you? Because I'm not sure I know a person that says, oh, please, I want my mask forever. What say you?
Well, there are some people that will never take it off. In fact, I did my own poll on Facebook and I asked people if they thought that those that have been complying all this time, if they should actually even get the privilege of having a free face. And most people said no, they should have to wear that for the rest of their life because that's what they chose to do. Let everybody understand this. There is no law, never was a law, never can be a law to ban oxygen, although they tried to make it look like that. What bothered me, Dean, and I was excoriated for this view on my own Facebook page, was I saw that little blurb of somebody had a video camera going when the flight attendant or the captain announced mid-flight that everybody could take their masks off. People started cheering. Now, I applaud the fact that the federal judge realized and affirmed what I've been saying for 2 years is that the CDC cannot make law. But all of those people, all of those passengers, the passengers cheering for freedom, they should have been fighting for freedom. The other thing, Dean, is they can do all those polls they want. Polls do not make law. Of course, most people don't know that. They think that the AP is going to take a vote and then that's going to become a law.
Yeah, because it's just the mouthpiece of the power structure. So and that's a good point. Yeah, I saw that video too. They were all clapping and stuff. They're like, oh, we don't have to pretend we're eating anymore. Okay, no more Pringles for us. Because, the virus waits are like, okay, we'll wait till you're done eating before we kill you. But
Yes.
anyways, I'm going to switch gears here too, because now, Peggy, I know you just love a good political season just like me, and we just love it. You know what I'm saying? Not really, but it is the political season now. And now we could see it just like they had Mayor Villaraigosa, Tony Villar of LA, the former mayor, I should say, try to run and be a presidential bid. We now see Gavin Newsom, who's allegedly the governor of California, now making his bid, putting the PR out. So will he or won't he? So he could say no, and that's a decision that me and my what's her name, me and my wife, that we have to find out if it's good with our pastor, right, and our rabbis. But we know he's going to do it because he has to, because that family with Pelosi all the way up to her dad, going back to the FDR days, the crime family has always been about power and just pardons themselves to stay in power, just pardon the next generation. So what do we see on that front with this Newsom, who's like a Justin Trudeau, but for California?
Yeah, I would love to hear everybody in the chat give me their favorite nickname for the governor. That's what I call him, the governor. And I've seen people call him New Scum and Nuisance. And I would love to hear. We've got a really active chat going on in this live stream. Everybody, I'm seeing your comments. And before I answer that question, Dean, I do need to let everybody know that the administration, the Brandon administration, has just put in for their appeal of that mask ban. So the ping pong game continues. It's going to be going back and forth and back and forth. So it may be likely that in a couple of weeks, you're going to hear from another federal judge that says, oh, no. The CDC has the right to tell you what to do with your body. So stay tuned, friends. Don't hold your breath. Ha, 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 and to be continued with the ping pong game in the courts. And that is going back and forth. So I just had to get that in before we talk about, let's see.
The hypocrisy too, the hypocrisy, Peggy, that they want to tell us to keep our mask on, and yet he doesn't want to remove his, this guy right here.
Well, I think, look, remember, everything landed on the president's plate but locust. And so what we finally got to the place, all kidding aside, we finally got to the place where we got not only the car out of the ditch and kept it from going.
So we're taking all of our mask off and he's still leaving his on. Does that make, that's not fair, is it? Not fair.
I got to say, Dean, I was really thinking about that the other day, that Newsom, and I've got people are calling him gruesome Newsom, New Scum. Oh, they have some that I cannot say on the air, but you guys can read those in the chat. And here's what I was thinking just the other day. Nancy Pelosi, excuse me, I might have mispronounced that. And Newsom and others, including the guy that needs to find a comb who's trying to run the UK, all of them were discovered breathing oxygen. I started to think, I bet that's a setup. I think they were all set up purposely. I think they made it look like there was a photographer catching Newsom in the act. I think they made it look like Nancy Pelosi just happened to not have a mask on, and that Boris, the unkempt, uncombed Boris, I think, which isn't that a Russian name, just as an aside, I think that all of those were actually staged events to rub the peasants' noses in the hypocrisy of it all, to outrage and inflame even those that have been going along with it, because I actually don't trust anything the media does. So the fact that those actually were discovered, I believe, was orchestrated. Let me know, friends, if you think I'm right or wrong on this in the chat, because I don't think the mainstream media would have allowed that to be viewed if the puppets and the puppet masters did not approve.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why James Woods wouldn't cover his makeup better. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a better an actor than that. I've been watching the guy for years. So here's another thing, because the political football in will he or won't he be running, and I'm talking about Michelle Obama, all these things we just don't know yet. And it's very confusing. I don't know who to put my money on, Peggy. I don't know about you, but when we make the wage later, you got to give me a clue of what the deal is here. But so speaking of this here now, because I know California is ever so changing, but one thing that doesn't change is the corruption. Now, this is what I want to talk about, because you remember what I was saying in 2020. You remember when I stood at the Santa Ana halls with you right there, or the conference rooms, and the guy had the bullhorn, and I was telling people two things. Number one, that we are facing World War III on American soil, that China is the aggressor here with the technocratic dictatorship at top. But then I said the following: what happened to the $3.5 billion that Gavin Newsom gave to the car company to create not cars, not mopeds, not tailpipes or anything, but the mask, the COVID mask. I said, where's that money? And I said, well, it was given to just the city councils here, a little there, sprinkle here. And people, whether they knew it or not, they're like, I'll take it. That's what we do. Then they found out, oh, it's Chinese money. That's treason, punishable by death. Just like the Orange County superintendent guy. I cannot think of his name. Don Wagner.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Donnie.
Don Wagner, the soap opera actor guy. I forgot his name. Anyway. But then this happens now. I want to get your take on this because this seems fishy to me. And when we get through here, we dive through the minutia to talk about the PR. Look at this. California will close its central COVID-1984 labs, not to be confused with the ones in Ukraine, and then cancel the controversial $1.7 billion contract. So, look, he quietly ordered the closure. This just happened today. Of the testing laboratories, cutting short controversial no bids. This and they see controversial no bid contract worth up $1.7 billion. Now, to me, that seems like money laundering. And I knew right away in Orange County, there was a place called Neogenomics that was purposely making the false positive tests. I said that March 26th of 2020. And that's what they were doing. What do we know about this? What does this signify here? As we go into this brave new world of theirs, these satanic pig demons.
Oh my gosh, Dean, that is such a good catch that you made there, that find. The first thing that jumped out at me is that fake name, PerkinElmer. It says global healthcare giant. I've never heard of that at all. We all know about Merck and Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer and Eli Lilly. And, I'm not far from the, biotech in San Diego. I've never heard of PerkinElmer. It sounds fake. It sounds phony. It sounds like a false name, just like Newsom's winery, Plump Jack. Give me a break. That sounds obscene and pornographic. So they make up these fake names. And I agree with you. I believe that is money laundering. Does anybody remember that green solar energy back in the, the big zero days? Who was running the country then? And remember, they gave billions of dollars for all of these green solar energy, and one by one, those companies collapsed. What happened to that money as well? And one other thing I want to say on this, Dean, is I was driving through Riverside County recently, and I was going through Banning and Beaumont, which is where the governor has his prepping storehouses. And we're told that they're filled with all of the, PPE and masks, for the next million years and all of that. But here's what I saw. I saw we the people fighting back. I saw billboards saying, stop the growth of these warehouses. And this is not just Amazon and Skechers. This is where the Gavinator likes to place all of his own preps. And so I'm glad that people are onto that. We need to keep aware of all of that. We've seen this type of corruption, the fake frauds and phonies. And there's another F word that comes to mind that I'm too polite to say. And,
sure.
We've seen
I think you mean fiddlesticks. I think that's the name you're thinking about.
That was the one. But I also
careful.
want to say this, Dean. You have an amazing audience here who is smart and savvy, and they're a little snarky. Yes. And I will tell you, this is what the puppet masters fear. All right. A couple of years ago, aside from you've been leading the charge for a long time. Many people woke up over the last couple of years. They were able to slosh the hogwash all over us because people were asleep. They were not organized. They were not educated. They were not active. Look at the number of people that you and I have seen in Santa Ana at the Board of Supervisors, the number of people all over the country, not just in California. But as you say, California leads the country. We're the largest by population, 40 million Americans and probably another 5 million that are not Americans living here that are a huge number of the population. If they can strangle and get that stranglehold in California, they use it as a test case. And my prediction is they actually are happy when people are leaving California, because then there are fewer people to control. They want LA to be a cesspool. They're not even bothered by those videos that show that LA looks worse than a third world country, that it's more dangerous. I lived in Morocco. I lived in a developing country. I was far more safe, and I had far more amenities in Morocco than I would find in Los Angeles. And I'm not talking about downtown LA. I'm talking about driving on the 405 where people are living on the freeway. Literally, it's despicable, it's shameful, and it's by
You're
design.
absolutely correct, Peggy. And just because I'm a little hard of hearing sometimes, what was the name of that winery again from Governor Newsom?
Plump Jack. Excuse me. Is it
Peggy,
just
I mean
me,
the
or does that
winery.
rub anybody the wrong way?
Yeah, is that the winery? Just to make sure. Let me write that down. Plum Jack. Was that a Merlot you're talking about? Or Chardonnay?
Yeah, the place
okay,
that he didn't close when everybody else was.
All right. Okay, Lisa, please get a bottle of the Plum Jack. Okay, anyways. All right, so here's when I'm speaking of this, and I want to get back. Please remind me before you jet set out of here. I want to go over the Riverside County in the San Bernardino again. That's just I want to tell you something about that. But to what you're saying here, because I like to stay on point because I'm very pointy. Look at this here. This is now the inflation in the food banks in California. Because remember, it's the home of the homeless from all over the country. They bring them to California. That's more money for the local politicians, etc. And that king of old rats, that Mayor Garcetti, that turd in a suit, loves it. He loves the homeless people, just like you told me 5 years ago. Helping the homeless is not our priority right now. Look at this right here. This is the inflation. Oh, okay, that's the thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so look at this here, right here, Peggy. This is now in first-time users, raisers. More than a dozen people stood in the rain last week in the gates at the Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services Distribution Center. So right here, okay, this is a common scene here, Peggy. And this is only getting bigger and bigger and bigger as the food-demic designed, planned for this very pandemic seems to be growing. So does the common family who cannot afford. And they said the following, that there's going to be an increase about roughly $1,000 per American household by the end of 2022. So what you described to the T is what's going to be taking place in places like LA, in places that are like Riverside County. You're going to see the divide between the haves and the haves not. I mean, we're literally going the way of Venezuela here. We're literally going the way. So here's what I'm saying is take that into account. Then also, let's not forget here, and I'm going to get your take on it, that this alleged governor released multiple thousands, probably over 100,000 inmates, all the way up to death row in San Quentin, and has just let them loose all over California. And they're always going to Riverside County, San Bernardino County. And as of 2 weeks ago, Peggy, they found once again, a grenade launcher in the trash can the San Bernardino police found here. They're getting ready for their planned riot hood, part 3, when this all comes down and the sovereign movement, the republic tries to come back. That's what they're going to do to take it all back when we're not done killing ourselves. What say you on this? Because we're no fools around here. As you said, we have the most effective audience in the world.
Yeah, I'm just loving these, all of the comments in the chat. And friends, I would love for you to join me. I do a live stream Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. on my YouTube channel. It's called The Healthy American. Come and educate the YouTubers there as well, if you would, 4 p.m. Pacific. And what I want to say is actually the California government came up with a solution. Maybe you didn't hear this, Dean. They have a solution. It's called Universal Basic Income, UBI. And wait until you hear who gets first dibs. It is $1,000 a month, per month, for 3 years, no strings attached. So you don't have to have a job. In fact, they don't ask anything about you other than probably your, if you're a pureblood or not. And the first people in line, and again, God bless you, live your life the way you want to. I will, pray for your redemption and healing for all those who need it. But I'll tell you what, the first people that are getting it, the pilot money went to a group in Palm Springs they call themselves queer, gay, lesbian, gay, everything, all of the everything. They got $250,000 as a pilot program to study how best to give the money to the LGBTQ LMNOP.
Right.
XYZ, and they are going to get $1,000 a month for 3 years, no strings attached, while those that have been working hard at the job are being fired in California from Kaiser and from all of the other biotech industries in San Diego and the Bay Area. They're being fired because they will not pollute their blood, even though they've been working there for years. And they're getting fired illegally, I might add. And that's something that I can help people with over at the Healthy American. But what they want, Dean, is they want people that they can control. That image that you showed of the food bank. And again, people fall on hard times. It's great to have a hand up. But this is institutionalized dependence on the government, which is exactly what they want. They want you and me and others to flee California. They would be so happy if Tony Roman from Basilicos packed up his bags and left. And he's never going to do it, and neither am I. But they want complete dependence on the government. So in fact, all of their policies are working perfectly for them. I want to hear what folks think about the UBI. It sounds like a venereal disease.
Well, between that and the wine, I'm not sure. I need a shower after this conversation. But
you see, at 7:00 at night, man, all bets are off.
This is the Peggy I love, the Peggy Unfiltered. Peggy, I know you got to go, and we could talk for just hours. I want to have you back more often because I think it's so fruitful every time we get together. And I want to tell people it was going to be a well kept secret. I was going to surprise Peggy at her doorstep when I was going to be like in a little basket, like, hey, it's me. But I'm coming to Orange County this summer. We're doing our Real Deal Media Tour, and guess what? Peggy is going to be joining me on stage. It was going to be, we're going to tell people eventually, and I think we're going to do Basilicos and do a whole a routine and bit over there, and just do a show and such. And people love when we get together. But Peggy, thank you for coming here tonight. And I know your efforts are so key here because it's leading the way by action, not just words. Because to quote the song, I think you're more than words. But anything you want to tell this effective audience around the world that are watching this live broadcast here tonight before you?
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm really happy to be a part of this. Dean, you are... you're able to express the truth with that great wit that you have. You personally have helped me with some things related to opening my own eyes as to what's going around. And our times together at the Orange County Board of Supervisors, I will always remember. And I can't wait to be on again. And again, you've got a great audience here. Thanks for the opportunity. I hope I'm going to see everybody over at my YouTube channel, and to connecting with you again. Thanks for bringing the breaking news that people need to hear with your very unique view and spin. So I'll sign off for now, everybody. Thanks so much.
Yes.
Find me over at the Healthy American. Put in the THE, healthyamerican.org, to find out all what I've got going on. And mainly where I hang out is on YouTube. I can't believe that I'm still there. I've learned how to kind of outsmart their algorithms. And then I've got a private channel, for the uncensored stuff. But so great to see you all. And I have to say, thank God for COVID. If it hadn't been for COVID, I wouldn't have met all you amazing people. And
that's right.
We're connected, we're educated, we're active. They're never going to be able to slosh that hogwash over us again. We are going to keep our eye on all things California, because as goes California, so goes the nation. So keep up the great work, everybody. And signing off for now.
Thank you very much. Peggy Hall, everybody. How about that? The great Peggy Hall here at World at War. You never know who's going to come to Mr. Ryan's neighborhood. That's right. That's me, Dean Ryan.